So today I want to talk about a feeling I wish more people would talk about. And that is when you feel incomplete within yourself because on some level you are waiting for someone to choose you. So it's that quiet and sometimes also very loud feeling of hoping that someone at some point will finally love you, pick you, and choose you in the way that you've been craving. That desire can become so strong that you actually subconsciously almost end up putting your life on pause because it feels like nothing will truly make sense, nothing will really be okay, and nothing will really feel enough until that happens. So if you relate to what I just said, then this video is for you. Today, I wanted to share some of my own experiences with this feeling and also break down how waiting to be chosen will put your life on pause, the illusion of thinking being chosen will fix things, and most importantly, how to go from waiting to be chosen to becoming the chooser in your life and how that changes everything. As always, if you enjoy my content, feel free to support it in some way, such as liking, commenting, or subscribing. Your support is so appreciated, and you can download my free 12-minute anxiety release guided meditation in the link below. So I personally relate to this feeling from different moments in my life, but I think I felt it the most over the last few years. If you have watched some of my other videos, then you might know that around 3 years ago, I went through a long-term relationship breakup. And when I came out of that breakup, I realized, oh my God, I have been so used to the feeling of being chosen by someone for so long. I genuinely didn't know how to navigate life without that. It ended up putting me in this situation where I started thinking my life will only make sense again once I manage that again. So once I manage to be chosen by someone again, because I didn't know a happy me outside of being chosen by someone. I didn't know my worth outside of being chosen by someone. The thing is, I ended up spending some time deliberately being single and alone after that breakup. And so that feeling of needing to be chosen by someone was something that I had to sit with. I didn't allow myself to distract from it by jumping into something new. I actually wanted to face it and unravel it and sit with it and figure out why I felt this way in the first place, because I could see how much that was stopping me from living my life to the fullest and becoming the person that I actually wanted to be. And regardless of my own situation and my own personal experiences, it really doesn't surprise me why I felt this way, why so many people feel this way, and specifically why so many women feel this way. Because if you think about it, we really grow up in a world and in a society that also teaches us this idea. It's almost impossible to escape, and it's even in the stories that we grow up with. Cinderella is stuck in a life that she hates until a prince comes and saves her. Sleeping Beauty is literally asleep for most of the story until a prince comes and saves her. Ariel the mermaid is willing to give up her voice just for the chance of a man to potentially, maybe, hopefully choose her. And so it is all around us. We grow up with it. And so no wonder so many of us end up subconsciously putting our life on pause, waiting to be chosen. Now, if I could go back to the version of me who was feeling this so much and I could tell her only one thing, I would say, I know what you are feeling feels real, but it's an illusion. It's not real. That moment that you are waiting for someone to finally choose you, it's never gonna actually give you what you're looking for. You just can't see it yet. Girl, I'm filming. Why are you in my shot? Okay, that short intermission, my cat, she loves the camera, and every time I start filming, she wants to be in frame. So for this video, I'm just gonna let her have her moment, and I hope it's not gonna be too distracting. What I was going to say is that when I really ended up sitting with this feeling and I wasn't distracting myself from it anymore, I realized that this need within me to be chosen had been causing chaos and pain in my life way before I was even aware of it. So even when I was in a relationship, even when I was technically being chosen during that time, that voice inside me screaming, choose me, please choose me. It was already there. It was just quieter, less visible. During that time, there was almost a band-aid on the wound because on the surface, it looked like I had what I wanted. But now looking back, I can see how much that voice inside me was controlling me even back then. So maybe being chosen by someone was never actually the solution. From my experience, if you have that need within you to be chosen by someone, until you unravel that yourself, you carry that with you everywhere you go, even if you end up going into a situation where technically you are being chosen by someone. And then it's also so easy that you end up in situations where you accept things that you should not be accepting in a relationship because you are so afraid of losing the feeling of being chosen by someone. And you stay in situations that you should not be staying in because to you, the feeling of being chosen by someone becomes more important than you being happy. And you tolerate things that you shouldn't be tolerating because you are so afraid of not being chosen by someone anymore. And it was only until I ended up being alone and there was no one there to distract me from this that I ended up seeing it for what it was. But it had been there all along. And so that also means that the illusion of being chosen by someone was never actually the solution that I was looking for. It was just going to put another band-aid on my wound and throw me into that same cycle where I would repeat those same experiences. So what if the problem was never actually whether or not someone would choose you? It's that you have spent so much time in this mindset, either waiting for someone to choose you or then holding on to that feeling that you have never actually found the time and the space to choose yourself. And I know that sounds cliche, but for me, when I really realized that, that's when everything changed and everything started shifting. So what does it mean to actually choose yourself? For the longest time, I used to think that choosing myself and no longer waiting for someone to choose me meant giving myself all the things I was looking for in another person or whatever that would represent. So for example, going on solo dates, buying myself flowers, writing affirmations to myself about how much I appreciate myself. And even though those things can be great habits, I have realized that actually choosing yourself has almost nothing to do with that. So actually choosing yourself is not about giving yourself all the things that you would get from another person, because when you do that, so for example, when you go on the solo date or you buy yourself the flowers or you write the affirmations, if you think about it, you are still in the energy and in the feeling that something is actually missing, and now you are trying to replicate that. Actually choosing yourself is about stepping into the energy of someone who is already whole, because you are. And when you start seeing yourself that way, that's when everything shifts and everything changes. From my experience, I would say that process comes down to two things mainly. Number one is that you have to take all that energy that has gone into waiting for someone to choose you, even if it was subconsciously, you take that energy and you pour it all into your own life so that you are able to create a life that feels worth living for you. And number two, you have to start making decisions based on what you truly want. So instead of always asking yourself this question, is this going to make me more lovable? Is it going to make me more desirable? You simply ask yourself, is this going to make me love my life more? And And then the paradox is your mind might start to think, but if I no longer wait for someone to choose me, then who's going to choose me? Because Ariel and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty all only got chosen by waiting for someone to be chosen. But that's not actually how it works. When you start choosing yourself and you are no longer waiting for someone else to choose you, there is one really powerful shift that happens, and that's that you go from waiting to be chosen to becoming the chooser in your life. And then everything changes and everything shifts because you stop looking at people or situations through this lens of, will they pick me? Will they choose me? And instead, you start thinking, do I even want this? And if no, then what do I want? So stopping this pattern of waiting for someone to choose you is not about you having to be happy alone for the rest of your life or you needing to reject love, because being human and wanting love is not the problem, but being in a mindset where your need and your desire to be chosen by someone is so strong that you're willing to put your life on pause for that, and you are willing to sacrifice your own happiness and growth and achievements and goals and dreams. Being in that type of thinking is only going to pull situations to you that are going to cause you pain, whether that ends up being pain because you're alone and you can't handle that, or then it's going to be pain in the illusion of being chosen by someone else. On the flip side, when you on a feeling level start becoming the chooser in your life and you choose yourself first, then the right people and connections and healthy relationships just start gravitating towards you, not because you had to chase them or prove them, but because you are radiating something so much more powerful, and that is the energy of someone who has chosen themselves. And from my experience, then things just happen and they just come, and often faster than you thought is even possible.